There we go. Okay. And now we're live on the tubes of you. Golly, I look crazy. Yeah, no, it's not fine. I'm not this color. I'm not this color. My background isn't that color. Like, something's wrong. And I don't know what it is. Anyway. So, I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people don't want to hear. Actually, that seems like what I do every day. I'm telling y'all something that nobody really wants to talk about. Okay? Prisons are not safe for women. Alright? They're not safe for the ones doing time. And they're not safe for the ones who are trying to earn a paycheck. And just trying to survive. Okay? Alright. So you walk through the gates as a woman. And you're instantly categorized. You're either a target, a temptation, or a threat, but you're never treated as a human being. I've watched female correctional officers being harassed at every shift. Okay? You say no to a man, then suddenly you're the rumor. You're the one they whisper about in the control room. They'll say you're sleeping with inmates. They'll call you names. And then they'll tell the new hires not to trust you. All because you didn't let a man cross your boundary. And when an inmate exposes himself, when he violates you right there on the job, men laugh and they make jokes. They say, "What did you expect?" You file a report. Sometimes it disappears. You say something and suddenly you're too sensitive. You stay silent and you start to rot from the inside out. But the women doing time, they don't even get the illusion of safety. They get officers who flirt, touch them, and then threaten. They get told nobody's going to believe you. Okay? Up when they speak. They get transferred when they report. And they learn real fast that silence is safer than truth. And people love to talk about rehabilitation. They love to say prison teaches accountability. But where's the accountability for the officers who prey on women? For the coworkers who laugh at abuse? And for the system that looks the other way every single time? The truth is, it isn't about safety or justice. It's about power. And when men hold all the keys, women pay the price. So this morning, we're going to talk about it. Once we get that live goal completed, we'll open the panel up for discussion. Okay, we're going to talk about what happens when the system that claims to protect people turns into a predator. Because prisons aren't just cages for inmates. They're hunting grounds for women in general. And if that doesn't shake you, then you haven't been paying attention. All right? Let me shout out the top viewers real fast. All right, Momo's number 1, Sabrina is number 2, Helen's number 3, Miso is number 4, and Esther is number 5. Thank you all so much for your contributions. Jesus, when I'm talking about prisons, I mean all institutions. I'm just not going to go prisons, juvenile detention centers, jails. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I'm freezing. Oh, crap. Great. Great. Still? Okay, I hope not. Great. This is bad. This is like a weird... I don't know what's going on. Like I'm having a weird technical morning. Okay. Good over in some places, not so good in other places. That's kind of frightening. Okay. So here's what it is. Let's talk about the female staff versus the male staff. Okay? Female staff versus the male staff. Male officers harass their female coworkers who reject them. I'm going to tell you something. I talk about, but it's not just prisons. Hey, Anne-Marie. It's not just about prisons. Okay? It's about any place where a woman's working in a male-dominated field. Because it's happening everywhere. Whether you're in the military, whether you work construction or in law enforcement, it's anywhere where there is a woman in a male-dominated field. And what happens is that because we're in a patriarchy, men believe that if a woman enters a male-dominated field for work, that she must be interested in getting together with a man on her job. Women who work male-dominated fields are seen as a potential notch on the belt working there. Whether it's astrophysics, okay? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter what the job is. It doesn't matter how evolved the men are supposed to be at the job. It doesn't matter how smart they are or stupid. It doesn't matter. If it's a male-dominated field, if a woman enters a male-dominated field, the men there believe that she is eventually going to sleep with one of them or a few of them. Eventually. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart meal and please subscribe. So what ends up happening is when a woman is when she's in there and she's just trying to be professional, it's almost like it's impossible because somebody's going to be upset because the whole idea is that she is there for the pleasure of the men that work there. When we're talking about prison, a place where the staff members can't have like real weapons or anything, where they're in very close proximity to inmates who are just out walking about. And it's a situation where you're supposed to be able to depend on your coworkers. When female staff get there and she's just trying to be professional, and she's like, you know what, I'm not interested in your advances. What the staff members will do, they'll get together and talk to try to figure out who exactly she's sleeping with. Because they can't imagine, well, if she's not trying to sleep with me, then it must be one of these other guys over here. And then once they get together and realize that she's not trying to sleep with any of them, then they assume she's trying to sleep with inmates. And they will start rumors about her. They will start rumors. And that's probably like the nicest thing that could happen, is they just start rumors about her. But one of the worst things that could happen to a female staff member in a prison after she has rejected the advances of the male staff members there is that, and this has happened, because this is something that was told to me by my lieutenant, my instructor, when I was in the academy. She was a woman. And she was telling my class about the time that after she had rejected several officers on the job, she ended up in an altercation with an inmate. She calls on her radio for help, and nobody showed up. That is probably one of the worst things that could happen. No one showed up for her because they were upset because she wasn't sleeping, because they expected her to be doing that. She was just trying to do her job. So I want to know from y'all, how many of you have had that kind of experience before? Where like a male coworker has lied on you on the job just because you wouldn't give them the time of day. Put a 1 in the chat if that's ever happened to you. You're just trying to be professional and do your job. And your male coworkers are lying on you because you weren't trying to Netflix and chill with them, or you denied them access to you. Yeah. Yep. Oh my God. And over here on the tubes of you, if you do look at, because I'm hoping that I'm saving the live chats. The way that men will try to invalidate women's experiences, y'all, I really hope that you're clocking that. They don't care. They don't care about your safety. They don't care about your experiences. They don't care. So let's talk about joke culture, okay? So you get a group of guys around. Let's see, you're, Oh, actually, yeah. Kate? Yeah. Yeah. Actually, a lot of those guys, because I've seen this before too, because there are women like in corrections, and they're like definitely out. And the men will still hit on them. They will still hit on them because they're trying to, it's almost like it's a bigger score, But here's something also that's messed up. So when you're a female officer and you're working around, like, especially if you're working in a male prison, because I don't think this happens anywhere else really. But if you're getting harassed by inmates, yeah, the male staff members might actually do their job. Well, they probably will. Okay, they will go and lock up an inmate for, exposing themselves to you. But then, instead of seeing if you're okay, they'll laugh about it. It's funny to them. Your supervisor may even think it's funny. They won't say, hey, especially when you're new. Nobody's checking to see, because the thing about it is what's happening is a crime. If it were happening on the street, you would call the police. And for some reason, even when you are, like, you're still a human being, even though you are, well, I don't know either, Seaguard. Oh, gosh, hold on a second. You had a lieutenant laugh in the middle of me getting sexually harassed by an inmate. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's horrible. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that happens. I've had that happen myself. When I was a brand new officer, I wrote up like 6 inmates in a 3-day period. 6 inmates in a 3-day period. And my lieutenant was like, nobody ever checked on me, for what I had seen. I mean, like 6 dudes in the same housing unit. It was crazy. And yeah, no kind of support, and then I ended up getting moved. I was glad I got moved, but it was weird because I was getting talked to as if it was somehow my fault that these inmates were pulling their penises out of their pants. It was weird. It was like I was getting spoken to like I was somehow the problem, which was really messed up. And so I know that like if it happened to me, I know it's happened to other people. Let's see. Emerald, you're saying that you worked at a minimum security male prison. The staff was worse and harassing. Yeah. The staff is bad. Because they feel entitled. They feel entitled to your time. They feel entitled to your body. Like, it's so weird. Because it's so weird. They kind of feel like you're probably loose. also they feel like they have a chance at you because they're extremely misogynistic. And so they're thinking like, well, I would never let my girlfriend or my wife work in a prison with a bunch of dudes in it. And so they see a woman working there and they assume that she's unattached. If she's unattached, then maybe I got a chance. And then easy pickings because, like, she's right there. I mean, that's how a lot of them think. What now? Can't say it's true. So hearsay. But they say the killers get... I don't know. I mean, maybe if he's famous. Maybe if he's famous. Anyway, please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. Let's see. All right. So I want to talk about the toll on the female staff members. Something that I saw, and actually, since doing these lives, I've talked to a few officers, a few female staff members who've had very similar experiences to me. But about that indecent exposure stuff, that, it was almost funny the first time because I couldn't believe that this person did this. Like, duh, you're gonna go to the hole. Like, you're gonna get locked up in a 23-1 for probably 30 days. I can't believe you just did this. And then they do it. But then, like, it kept happening. Like I said, in a 3-day period. No, I don't still work in the prisons. But in a 3-day period, I was exposed to 6 times. Which is crazy. It's crazy even at a prison where dudes are just acting like freaking animals. Okay? You can avoid this by following the law. Lisa, I'm not sure what you mean, girl. Avoid what? Working at a prison by following the law? Anyway, so after the first couple of times that it happened, I started getting sick. Like, I started getting sick to my stomach. And I couldn't understand why. And then later, like when I had a break from work, you know, because we worked like 2 days on, 3 days off, or whatever. It was a weird schedule. But I had a break and I was looking it up. I'm going to pin this comment right here. Lisa, I know you're a person. Actually, you know what? I don't really have it in me right now to be nice about how stupid this fucking comment is. Look at this. All you women want. You can avoid this by working somewhere else other than a prison. And where's that other comment? Did somebody get rid of her? Shit, y'all were on it. I wanted to use her comment as an example. Because she was saying, like, you women want real jobs. Because that was a real person. You muted her? Yeah, I was trying to pin that comment. Because I wanted people to see. Because that was a whole ass pick-me. That was a whole pick-me. A lot of times people work at these prisons because there's no other jobs. A lot of these prisons are in places where, you know, like the community is, you know, they're in rural places in some cases. There's no other jobs available. No other jobs. And that's probably one of the best paying jobs they have in the area. And so people need jobs and they're going to go work. So it's kind of callous to say that stupid shit that fucking cow was talking about. about, well, you like, that's not a real situation. You can unmute her. Can you do me a favor and unmute her so I can find that comment? So I can, yeah, because I want to pin that comment. I want to pin it. There's other jobs. Trust me, the local hospital will love to have a new nurse. Yeah, oh, did she come back? Okay, she's a total cow. But yeah, unmute her, because this bitch has come back. This fucking bitch has come back. Let me find that comment so I can pin it, because here's what's stupid. Lisa, you fucking cow. Listen, how long does it take to become a nurse? A while. Oh no, I want her old comment pinned. I want that from, like, the comment where I can see that she is a real person because she's a level 1 gifter. I want that comment back. I want that fucking comment back. If we can. Because this doesn't tell me, like, I know this is a second account for her. This is a second account for her. Ladies, this is about to turn into something else. Pick-me's are fucking dangerous. She's making no sense, because it's either a man or it's a fucking total ass pick-me. I don't know. Try the front desk at a hospital. Yeah, popping up right after getting muted to come back into my live is fucking dumb. It's fucking dumb. Especially with the same name and a bunch of bullshit. Because, you know what? Because what the hell was I talking about yesterday? Yeah. But where's that other comment of hers? Because this cow made another comment talking about, y'all want jobs in male fields and then get mad when it gets real or something like that. That's what that cow said. That's what that fucking cow said. Yeah. See, what cows don't understand, because they're out in the pasture grazing on fucking grass and producing shitty milk, is that there are a lot of places where there are no other jobs. There are a lot of places where there are no other jobs. And guess what? Working at a... You said cow got an onion... Miso, is that a Napoleon Dynamite reference? Because I swear to God, don't make me laugh right now, because I'm upset. I'm upset at women like that. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me. And please subscribe. Miso, you silly. You silly lady. Listen. Those cute hospital jobs working the front desk are already taken up. And there's only room for 1 or 2. But the prisons are pretty much always hiring. Okay? They're always hiring. And for somebody... Now, I'm not sure if that's a woman or just some dickhead posing as a woman. I don't know. But I know that's a person. That's a human being. With these ridiculous views. You know what? I'm not going to spend any more time on it. No, Aaliyah, it is a human. It's a human with a second account. Because the first one, that first one had a gifter badge. So it's a human being, because bots don't gift. Bots don't gift. Then the cow got muted and then came back with a burner account with the same name. Talking the same nonsense. Because they want to be in my face so bad. They want that attention so bad. It's either a man posing as a woman, or just a really sad troll. A really sad person with nothing going on. Momo, do me a favor and just block that cow. Let's go, let's just block it. Let's go vegan right now. Okay? I'm off beef. And if it pops up again, just whack-a-mole it. Thank you. When I had to deal with that indecent exposure, 6 different inmates in a 3-day period, staff members are having to assemble and lock these dudes up, pack up their stuff, send the guy to SEG. When that happened, it really took a toll on me. And I couldn't understand. Sarah, can you explain? I'm new here. Another option for female criminals that's not prison? No. Sarah, just listen. Y'all, okay, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. Jesus fuck. You know what? I'm honest. You know what? Seriously, like, I almost just want to leave right now. I don't know. I'm irritated right now. And I really just kind of want to leave. Like, damn the outline. I'm going to go to bed. Actually, it's lunchtime. I'm going to go have lunch. Solution, no men in the female prisons and no women in the men's prisons. Actually, T, I agree with that. Actually. I agree with that. And it's sad because, and actually, I might just go off outline. Fuck it. I agree with that statement. And the reason for it is because there are really no protections. They say, like when I went to the academy, and they say this in like all academies, okay? They want women in the male prisons. They say this because women allegedly keep shit down in male prisons. And then they say a male presence does the same thing at female prisons. But the thing about it is, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Men, because what they're trying to believe, what they're trying to say is that male inmates have a respect for women that we're all starting to figure out doesn't fucking exist. Men do not respect women. Men do not listen to women. Men don't like their own mothers, for crying out loud. Boys stop listening to their mothers, like what? When they're teenagers? They'll have some, love for their mom, but it's not. So when you're talking about men who have already demonstrated, fuck the outline today. Fuck it. Fuck the outline. When we're talking about men who have already proven to society that they cannot follow rules, and these aren't even women's rules, these are men's rules. When they've already shown people that, okay, it's just a shitty situation. It's a fucking shitty situation. There's no way on earth that a man that has already demonstrated that he can't even follow men's rules is gonna, okay, well now y'all got me, so I'm gonna listen to these women here. No, they don't. They are weirdos. And something else that I really don't like. Something else that I really don't like is how, it just doesn't make any sense. They have policies for sexual harassment. They sure do. They have policies for if staff members don't help out other staff members. And it's proven that they didn't because there's cameras everywhere. But a lot of this crap tends to get swept under the rug. I've seen it with my own eyes. I didn't stay a CO for my whole career. I was internal affairs at the end of it. So much stuff got swept under the rug, it didn't make any sense. When women got hurt, it didn't matter if the woman was an inmate or staff member. When women get hurt, nobody cares. That's why I believe that women don't need to be working in male facilities. Actually, what it really is that women don't need to be working in a facility like that, in a prison facility where there's men working, because women are just not safe anywhere. We're not safe. And it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse now with this self-inflicted male loneliness epidemic. They're really believing, like when I tell y'all that they really do believe that they are entitled to a woman's presence, they are entitled to her body. It sounds so freaking weird. But they really do believe that when a woman starts working there, that she's gonna sleep with one of us. So they're gonna keep on trying. And if she doesn't, that's when all hell breaks loose. When I went to internal affairs, I saw so many cases come across my desk of female staff members being accused of sleeping with inmates. Shit. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heartbeat. And please subscribe. Yeah, fuck the outline today. Fuck it. Fuck the outline. You've got the male staff members who are upset at the women for trying to be professional. And then you've got the male inmates who act crazy as hell when they see a woman show up in the prison. They know they're not supposed to try to get close to staff members, but they will. They'll try to, try because they're trying to. But they will sexually harass female staff members. They will expose themselves. And it's not even just that. They will get violent. Because contrary to whatever that bullshit is that they try to tell people at all these different academies, a woman's presence does not calm anything down. It sure doesn't. It does not. To calm things down, you just have to have some skills in de-escalation. To calm things down, you just need to not be an asshole. And to be fair, firm, and consistent. A man could calm things down just as well as a woman can calm things down. It's just some stupid idea. I don't know why we do it here. But when I was internal affairs, I saw so many cases come across my desk of allegations against female staff members. And the majority of them were not true. And if there was some truth to it, a lot of cases it turned out that the female staff member was either coerced, which means she's a victim, or there was some violence that happened against her, which again makes her a victim. I have not seen it very often where a female staff member willingly went along with an inmate to get naked with him, because prisons are disgusting and there's no places to hide. There is a weird rumor, and I've seen so many people, like I've been going live for 3 months now, and ever so often, what's going on, Nola? Ever so often, and it's usually a woman. I mean, there's men too, but women are like, well, I heard that female staff members are in there sleeping with inmates, like all the time, getting pregnant by them, and blah, blah, blah. It's not happening like that. It happens once in a while, but it's not that big. And when women sit there and listen to that and then they spread that message, yep, women blaming other women, there's got to be blind spots, not a whole lot. And the blind spot, I'm going to tell you right now, the blind spots are in the middle of a hallway. Okay? The blind spots aren't like tucked away in a weird corner. Okay? Or in an office. The blind spots are out in the open where other people are going to be walking. Okay? We had the PREA Act, the Prison Rape Elimination Act of 2003, signed into law by President George W. Bush. And there was like a massive overhaul in this country. They put cameras everywhere, and where they couldn't get cameras, or cameras weren't, they put mirrors. There's like mirrors and cameras everywhere. There are no places to hide unless you were like a higher ranking staff member or you work medical or mental health or something else where you have an office. Where you actually have somewhere to tuck yourself away in. But like the regular run-of-the-mill CO doesn't have an office to lock herself into with an inmate. But a lot of people have this weird misconception that female officers, female guards, female COs are busting it open for these inmates. That stuff is a lie. Yes, it happens once in a while. But this widespread stuff where everybody is like, talk as if it's happening all the time. It's not happening all the time. It's a rumor spread by staff members, male staff members that are mad that they couldn't sleep with the female staff members. And it's also a lie perpetrated by male inmates for a few different reasons. One, because they're bored. Two, because they wish. And three, and this is the one that a lot of people don't understand, because you're never going to just know unless you catch this guy when he's out. But three, because he's having sex with men in there and he's deflecting. That's actually, I believe, the number one reason why male inmates say these things. Because they don't want the attention on them. Because I say, after about a year that a man is in prison, the way that men's sex drives are, and they're always thinking about it, and they're always trying to get a piece. You put a man in prison where he has no contact with women, their drives don't decrease. Their desires don't just disappear. They're sleeping with men in there. And they don't want people to be asking them those questions. And so they'll lie and say that they're having contact with female COs because those are the people that are in their face the most. But there's nowhere to go. They're lying. They're lying because they don't want you to ask the question, what were you doing in there? Because they know, who said that, ha ha ha, they're not? Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are. All the time. Yes, they are. Day and night. Yes, they are. How do I know this? Because that was the majority of the cases that I had to work when I was internal affairs. They are sleeping with each other all the time. And you want to know something else, ladies? The reason why they tell that lie about the female staff members is because most of those men that are getting caught having relations with other dudes in prison are married, or they have baby mamas out there, or they've got girlfriends. They got a bunch of women that are putting money on their books. Honey, y'all don't understand this. A lot of y'all have no idea about this. A lot of y'all want to bury your heads in the sand about this. But a lot of you ladies that are involved in these relationships with these fucking men in there are actually funding not only your man's lifestyle or who you think your man is. You're funding your man's lifestyle, and you're also funding his boyfriend's lifestyle in the prison. And a lot of women don't even understand that. Your hard-earned dollars while you're working 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, trying to keep a roof over your head, food on the table. A lot of times y'all got kids, so you're trying to put clothes on their back, and then you're putting money on the dude's books. Okay, and then here we go. Okay, but I have a client that told me she got pregnant by an inmate, so how did that happen? If she got pregnant by an inmate, it's because she had sex with an inmate. Duh. What I'm saying, I never said it never happens. I'm saying it's rare. It's rare. Duh. Duh. It's rare. Most of the time when you hear dudes, if it's a man talking about it, it's probably a lie. And the reason that he's talking about it is because he doesn't want people knowing that he's having sex with other men in there. Because if he says, well, I was, female officers, if he does that, then you're not going to ask him, what were you doing in there for 12 years, 15 years, 20 years? Okay? Okay, not in Texas. Not, I hear my female client say it all the time. I don't know what you do. You're a tattoo artist? I feel like you're lying. Very rarely do I want to call people liars, but I feel like you're lying. I feel like you're lying because this is actually a rare occurrence. Okay? This is rare. Totally rare. Not saying it doesn't happen, but that's rare, and I think you're lying. I cannot imagine that you have a whole bunch of female clients coming in for tattoos. Strange women are just telling you that they're fucking inmates at their job. That sounds like a lie. Okay? Sounds like a lie. Okay? Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. And the reason I'm saying it's a lie probably is because that's a whole ass felony. So you're telling me that strangers are coming up to you and admitting felonies in your tattoo shop. Sounds like a fucking lie. Okay? I'm just saying. Sounds like a fucking lie. That is a felony. Anyway, look at this. It's true. Most of my family COs. Yeah, most of your family COs, most of your families, if they're COs, if most of them are COs, then most of them are men. And the men that are saying that shit about women are mad because they couldn't get their dick wet by the new CO that came in. And so they call this fucking bullshit. That shit is a fucking lie. Y'all, if you have men in your family that COs and they're talking about women, it's sour grapes. It's sour fucking grapes. What's your family members that work in prisons? You're talking about women, then they're male-centered. So you're telling me that most of the COs in your family are. I don't even want to hear this shit. That sounds like a fucking lie. Sounds like a fucking lie. Sounds like a fucking lie. Raspberry, thank you so much for the garland headpiece. I keep freezing? Well, shit. Yeah. Sounds like a fucking lie. Glitching for the past 30 minutes. Shit, I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, it's bad for the female staff members there because of misogyny and weirdo inmates and inmates knowing good and well that them being in prison for 20 years, they probably have at least touched somebody else's penis. You're in prison for 20 years and you're around a bunch of men. They have to deflect because they don't want you to know, ladies. They don't want you to know. Okay? So now let's talk about female inmates. Female inmates are in danger. A lot of the inmates in there have mental health issues. They have trauma. And when they go to prison is they're not even safe in prison. They're not safe. Now, inversely, when I heard allegations of female inmates being involved in some stuff with a staff member, it was mostly true. Actually, and that's the sad part is it didn't happen a lot where we got the allegations, probably because they're scared. But when they did come across the office, when they did come across IAD, they were real cases. They were situations that actually happened. There was one situation that happened that was so fucking bad. And I think the only reason anything even happened, the only reason it got out there is because the woman, the victim, was not an American citizen. This happened at an American prison. She was there for drugs. She came from Mexico. She got arrested here. They put her in prison. She's trying to get out of prison faster, so she enters a program like a faith-based program. And the chaplain, the freaking chaplain, propositions her. The chaplain calls her into the office and asked her if she wanted to learn how to be a true woman of God. And this woman's like, well, what do I need to do? And so this chaplain, this man that had been working at the prison for who knows how many years, like a couple of decades. Raspberry, thank you so much for the feather tiara. This chaplain tells her, all right, you want to learn how to be a true woman of God? I need you to come every Monday. Come to my office at 6 a.m. Come to my office at 6 a.m. And I'm going to do stuff to you. She says, yeah, no, I'm not interested in that. And the chaplain tells her, oh, I'm not taking, because here's your choice. Either you say yes to this new training, or I go and I tell the shift supervisor, or I go tell the warden that you're being belligerent. And they're going to lock you up in the hole. And that means you're not going to get your parole. That means you're going to have to stay in prison longer. And I'm going to make sure that you just don't get out of here. She already had an immigration hold on her. Meaning that she was going to be immediately deported as soon as she was released from prison in the States. She's trying to just get out of here. So she says, okay. And so for 18 months, every Monday, she showed up at this chaplain's office every Monday for 6 months, which was 72 Mondays, where he sexually assaulted her. Vaginally, with his hands, and if she was menstruating, her mouth. 18 months. 18 months of Mondays. He said to her at one point that he had herpes. That he had caught it back when he was a wild boy back in the day. She developed mouth sores. She was too scared to say exactly how, but she went to medical and was like, hey, I've got these sores. I think it's something. They didn't listen to her. They didn't give her the medical care she needed. They didn't even check to see what it was. They didn't swab. They didn't do anything. So she's got these painful mouth sores. And she's getting raped every Monday for 18 months of Mondays. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. She had no choice. When she was finally released, she got deported. She got deported to Mexico. As soon as she was safe in Mexico, she told the authorities. She told the authorities what happened to her. And Mexico said, what the fuck, United States? And so they went about 12 miles away from where I live right here. They went down and kicked in the door to the Department of Justice and said, y'all didn't take care of our inmate. What are y'all going to do about it? You need to fix this. That chaplain went to prison. After the investigation, they found that he had victimized a few other inmates. Y'all, thank you so much for completing the live goal. Ramona, Stephanie, Ray, Peaches, Momo, Sassy, 38 Special, Sabrina, Rachel, Georgia Peach, Keanu, Melanie, Helen, Livy, Sean, Bex, Triple Heart, and Spade. Thank you so much for completing the live goal. Every coin helps keep the live afloat so I can keep telling you about these issues. Type of issues like this. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and open up the chat for discussion. Or the panel for discussion. How's that? I'll open up 6 spots, I suppose. Oh, what's going on, Chelsea? Hello? Oh, must be a mistake. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and open that up. So, So I thought that was bad. Because it is. Well, let's see if this is going to work. Oh, hi, Ramona.
Hello. Good afternoon. How are you, Lavender? I just love you. Thank you for just bringing the truth to us women. What's going on? Inside these broken systems. I was just thinking about when we were talking about the young lady being abused. We had a gentleman on my job. I won't say it, but I work for like a county agency, and it just brought to mind this gentleman was taking a young lady that was working in a cafeteria, taking her upstairs and having sex with her for like over a year, and until a security guard had found out. And you could tell that the gentleman must have got comfortable, because they said when they found him, he was like butt naked up there. But it's just the idea, this young lady was like fresh from pre-release, and as you said, just a predator, that predator mentality. And he actually, they had to force him to quit, because he thought that what he was doing to her, he thought that there was nothing wrong with that. So I just have to share that. But continue to set us free. You have a blessed day, ma'am.
Thank you, Ramona. Wow. Yeah, that's horrifying. That is horrifying.
Exactly.
I've seen a situation where, hell, Yeah. I've seen a situation like female staff members aren't safe. Like I was talking about the staff. Female staff members aren't safe from like abuse. I saw I had a case come across my desk when I was internal affairs where a female staff member was sexually assaulted by her male coworker who was supposed to be relieving her from duty in the guard tower.
Lord Jesus.
Latrina.
Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to come on and say that, I feel what you're saying about, how we as women, we work these various jobs and stuff like that. When I was in my early 20s, I had got a job working at the post office. And, as I was, before I started working there, you had to take the exam and everything. And, the instructor told us, if we get hired at the job, just be aware of your surroundings and the people that, you keep company with. I tell you, my first day at work, I wasn't even on the clock an hour before the men were swarming around us like we were fucking sharks. And all we kept hearing, new fish, new fish, new fish. You know what I'm saying? You're there to do a job. You're not. I mean, it's okay for you to date on your job, but at the same damn time, even if you're married, they still swarm around you as though you're a guppy in a cesspool of sharks.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is that when you do bring it to the supervisor's attention, 9 times out of 10, those supervisors have slept with that individual. So you damned if you do, if you damned if you don't. So I mean, my thing was, I kept to myself. Even though I heard the rumors, and then when people meet me, we're like, that never happened. That happens on every job. For that woman to sit there and say, oh, well, you shouldn't have been working at the prison. Duh. Like you said, that's the job. That's the job at the time that paid the most money, and you got to take care of your family.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is not meant to work a desk job. Everybody is not going to get a desk job. And even if you do get a desk job, they might be sleeping with the supervisor anyway.
Yeah.
I had to tell my daughter, not, don't go to the job. My daughter's a very beautiful girl, and she can get anybody that she wants. And I told her, I said, what was told to me, don't play where you make your money.
Mm-hmm.
Because once they see you dating somebody, then everybody else think, okay, once y'all break up, oh, I have a chance at her. And she dated one guy. And when I tell you her supervisor was on her, he was on her. Oh, you're not doing your route. Your route right. You're not doing this right.
Mm-hmm.
She will be the last one. She will be the first one there and be the last one to leave at the end of the day. Sometimes she wouldn't get home till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning after out there being delivered mail. Why? Because the supervisor wanted to be an asshole to her because she didn't take his advances.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. People don't understand how hard it is for us to be women, mothers. And I'm thinking, like, the men that working at these prisons, if they do have a good relationship with their mothers, how would you feel if your mother was in that situation? Your sister was in that situation. Even if you didn't have a good relationship with your mother, whether or not she still gave birth to you, would you still want your mother to be in the situation where she being preyed upon every day? That's stressful. That's hard. That makes a person want to kill themselves. And I'm not saying, to go out, do this and everything like that, but being a woman is hard, and people don't understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Also, it's like, you can go be a nurse. Do people not realize that a nurse is also one of the most dangerous professions in the world, too?
Yes.
Every single day. I'm not a nurse, I'm a medical assistant. And I've worked in pediatrics, OBGYN, med-surg, and a couple different other places in my tenure. And not one area that I've ever been where there was not a male staff worker, whether it be other nurses, other assistants, have the what we call EVS, which is the janitors, doctors, transporters that move the patients around. Like if they got to go get an MRI, they move them around. Kitchen workers. You are not safe as a woman. If there is any male around, even in women-dominated fields like healthcare, we are in danger. And we aren't even safe from our own patients who are male 99% of the time. We are conditioned to accept sexual assault and sexual harassment from patients because the legalities of it is just astronomical when it comes to reporting these things. We're advised not to even report it. We're advised just to deal with it. You just swap out with another worker. Just do what you can to get yourself out of the situation, but also put somebody else in the situation that you were just in. There's no accountability in 99% of work fields when it comes to this because they're not just going to fire everybody for every little thing, so they sweep it under the rug. You know, it's all goes down to capitalism. It all goes down to patriarchy. It's for them to come in here and say, go into a female-dominated field, you'll be safe there. That's laughable. Absolutely laughable.
Hang on, real quick, Raspberry. Hold on, Raspberry. Hold on, 2 seconds. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. Go ahead, Raspberry.
No, I was in recovery and the doctor asked me to come back after hours to enjoy him. In recovery. When I reported it, they told me it's probably because you wore those jeans. Are you kidding me? Jeans? Because I wore those jeans? Look, it is not my fault. I should be able to wear what I want. We shouldn't be convicted because of what we wear. Are you kidding me? Because I had on a baggy pair of jeans and a sweatshirt? It's my fault. We've got to do better this world, I swear.
It's easier and cheaper, the P word being cheaper, to put women under the boots of everything than it is to actually help women.
We've got to do better.
Yeah.
I think you're amazing. I think everybody who's dealt with this is absolutely amazing. Stay strong, ladies. Stay strong.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. Yeah, it's trash. And then to see, you know, some of the comments. Well, let's see. Let me look at some of the comments here.
And I'll add this little tidbit. When I got divorced or I was about to be separated, they all came out the woodworks. It's like they sniff you out. Like Person said, it's like blood around sharks. They sniff you out. I had a doctor, I had an EVS worker, I had a maintenance man, I had a security guard, and a tech all proposition me. And if I wasn't the type of personality that I have, that y'all know me, and I shut that shit down immediately with like aggression, if I was even trying to be kinder and more, you know, how some women are more timid when it comes to turning men down, I am so lucky that I have a personality that I have, that it didn't get far enough that they would feel rejected after a while, that they would complain on me and get me fired, like so many men do when they get rejected. So I'm just blessed to have the personality and the luck that I've had, but a lot of women do not have that luck. They try to be nice and be sweet about it. No, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. And these men don't hear that as absolute no's. They hear it as, let me keep trying more. And then they get in their fifis. And when she finally makes it extremely clear or gets angry about it, they get upset about it and go try to get her fired and take food out of her kid's mouth because she won't play with his wee-wee. It's a reality for tons of women.
Yeah, and it's weird because, like, people would say, like, Latrina, you were saying earlier, you know, well, don't they think about their mothers, or, like, how would they feel if it was their mothers or their sisters? They don't care about them. Like, it's kind of weird, but I think a lot more women are waking up to the realization that they don't actually care about the women in their own families. Like, they care about them as far as, you know, okay, well, if I see somebody has just done something to you, you're my mom, you're my sister, you're in proximity to me, and so that's like a slight on me, so I'm going to do something back. But when it comes to thinking outside the box, when it comes to thinking like, my mom's a woman, my sister's a woman, and this lady at my job is a woman, she probably has children, or she might have family members that would be sad if she were being treated like this. I would be upset if I found out my mom. They don't think like that. They don't think that way. And that's something that we have to understand. And that's why it keeps happening, because they don't think of us like that.
They don't, because just like you'll ask a man, they'll tell you all these things that women did wrong and what they did to deserve it and what they were wearing, where they were at, and how late they stayed out, and the people that they hang out with, right? But when you act this, they'll blame women for every scenario. But when you say, what about your own daughter? Oh, not my daughter. She can't be around men. All men are the same, et cetera, et cetera. They know what's in their heads. They know that their daughters would be innocent in these scenarios, but because their daughters are their, like you said, in proximity, or even some men think that they're their property, and they're not going to allow the same things to happen to their property that they would willfully allow to happen to a woman on the street that they have no connection to whatsoever. Because, men are emotionally stunted for the most part. They make comments like, I can only connect emotionally through sex. So it makes a lot of sense that they don't have any kind of bare minimum, empathy for anybody outside their circle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's...
Yeah. What's going on, Melanie?
Yeah, you reminded me whenever, I think someone asked about, you have mothers, you have daughters, and it reminded me of a Reddit post back in 2024. It was a content creator that actually got reposted by another male content creator, and it was 70,000 men. And
Uh-oh. But yeah, it's oh. Ooh. Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Okay, so it was a Reddit post of 70,000 men. This is around the world, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching men how to rape their mothers, how to have sex with like nieces, sisters, nephews, and it was on Reddit.
Oh, the
men
drugging
don't-
them. The drugging.
Oh
Is that what you're talking about?
no, this was a post on Reddit. Was it on Reddit?
No, I mean I don't know,
This
but
is
I'm
not
I'm
about
saying
this-
was
this is not about that woman.
no,
that
but I
had
mean
been-
I thought there was another thing where they found out that a bunch of guys were talking about how to drug their family members.
Oh, okay. No, this is different. This is actually like a membership on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
it had 70,000 male followers.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only reason it made it to the YouTube channel was because a lot of women were saying how men were, their experiences with men. And so when this content creator found that, he was like, well, maybe they're
Uh-oh.
right. Y'all do online every day, do you? But they don't care. It doesn't matter. Their grandmother, they really don't care. There is a news article where this woman got her son out of, he was incarcerated. She went and got him out. And actually he was charged with, R of his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
She got him out. Not only did he R his mother, but he beat her to a pulp. Her picture, you could see a picture. They have a picture of her in intensive care. He almost killed her.
Mm-hmm.
His mother. They don't care. They just don't care. And that's all
Yeah, they really don't care. They don't care. So it's
there's
like it's pointless for us to say, well, what if it was your mom? What if it was your sister? Because they don't care. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe.
I've even heard men say, you know, when you bring up those scenarios, well, what if it was these people? They'll even go so far as to just be like, well, she shouldn't have been there. It's her fault for doing it. I don't care if it's my mom.
Yeah, they are really messed up individuals. They're messed up.
Evil in the head.
I've
Yeah.
heard fathers say that about their own daughters.
Ugh.
Well, she didn't listen to me. She didn't take my advice. She shouldn't have been out at that late at night, forgetting that it's daylight savings time and it's dark at what, like 7 now?
Mhm.
And people are just shopping after work. People are going to the gym after work at 7. Do they think there's just like this clock in and clock out time for the boogeyman to come out and attack women that, well, shit, it's 9:45. I got about 15 more minutes before I got to clock in and start griping these women. No, they'll do it anytime, anywhere, with any amount of sunlight. It has nothing to do with being at the gym at 10 o'clock. It has nothing to do with walking to your car at 10 o'clock. It has nothing to do with it. And they do this to fearmonger us to be with men and stay in the homes for men and not leave out and do anything. That's all this whole mindset does. Is, well, you won't get attacked if you'll just be a traditional woman, work a traditional job, be home at 5, stay in the house, do nothing, don't hang out with your friends, don't go to the gym and take care of yourself. Just go put in a Jane Fonda. I don't know. I think that's an actress. Anyways, go put in a workout tape. Use your thigh master here.
Me so.
There where there's men at. It's just a whole more in-depth when you think about it. Yeah. Sorry.
No, you cut out for a second. I was like, golly, you're just bringing back all the old shit.
Well, just landing my plane. It's just a whole nother ideology to keep women contained in homes with men instead of having lives outside of men. Is because if you would do these things, you would never get assaulted. But we all know broad daylight it happens.
Yeah.
It's happening to babies in daycares. It's happening to lizards in the forest. It's happening to butterballs on the kitchen counter. There's nothing they won't do at any time to anything, anywhere.
I forgot about the turkeys. They were assaulting turkeys last year. They were probably assaulting turkeys every year.
And I got something kind of crude to say about that. You know how they always tell women not have high body counts because it makes them, hot dog down a hallway? Anybody ever seen the back end of a butterball turkey? If you can put stuffing in a butterball turkey and you can fill it full of all this thing, to put your hand up there and get all the butter up in there, they ain't got no business complaining about women and their anatomies. If they'll screw a butterball turkey, you can't say nothing about women.
Miso, I have not heard the term hot dog down a hallway in so long. That is so fucked up.
It's ingrained in my memory from all the years.
Golly. That is messed up. That's what these dudes are like in prison.
Got Debbie. Oh my God.
Yeah, that wasn't
You haven't
nice.
pulled up the donuts in the last little bit.
I'm not touching those. Oh my goodness. I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I've seen too many, like that female staff member that could have been hurt or actually she could have been killed by her coworker. He had been kind of stalking her online. He had been trying to, talk to her. She's married. And she's like, dude, I'm married. And he's like, happily. That kind of bullshit. And man, she was keeping it quiet. She didn't report him because she wasn't trying to, she wasn't trying to do any of that stuff. And she was hoping that the guy would just eventually leave her alone. And he just didn't. And then one day he was her relief. She was in the guard tower. And she had, in the guard towers, here's what they got. They've got a phone. They have an AR-15 that's loaded. They have post orders, the instructions. They've got a clipboard with papers for the, this is what they're doing. And they got a few pens. and a trash can and a desk. That's what they have upstairs in the guard tower. This particular kind of guard tower also had a trap door and had a ladder that went straight down. And guard towers, because they have to see like the entire prison yard, they're pretty tall. And so you're having to go in through the bottom door and then climb up a really tall ladder and then go through a trap door to be up in your workstation for hours by yourself. And this woman was doing that, and she was working night shift, and she was being relieved by the next shift, and it happened to be the guy that had been harassing her. And she's up there alone with this man who's also a lot bigger than her. And she's being professional. She's like, okay, here's the weapon, here's the rounds, no incident, let's count, let's do all this stuff. Let's make sure everything's here, blah, blah, blah. She's doing all that. She's doing her job. And she's getting ready to go, and this officer is like, well, am I going to get a hug? Where's my hug? The where's my hug guy. Put a 1 in the chat, ladies, if you know what I'm talking about, the where's my hug guy. This is 100% where the where's my hug guy goes wrong. So this guy is like, where's my hug? And she's like, dude, I'm just trying to leave. She's not trying to hug this guy. He's been sending her a bunch of messages on Messenger. And she's been, first she's trying to, I'm married. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting involved with you. He won't leave her alone, and now they're face to face, and now he wants a hug from her. Please like the live, please share the live, and if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. So she's trying to get out of there because it's time for her to go, and he's making her uncomfortable. So he puts his arms out to hug her, and she doesn't want the hug. So as he's coming out towards her, with his arms out for a hug, and she's got nowhere to go, he kind of... And again, guard towers aren't that big, and they've got windows all the way around. Mandy, hey, lady. They got the windows all the way around, and he just kind of rams her, with his arms out, and smashes her up against the glass of the guard tower. And he just smashes her against this glass. And then takes his hand and puts it down her pants.
Oh my God.
And she's screaming at him. And she gets away from him. She's got a jacket on. Okay? This is important. Maddie, thank you so much for all those finger hearts. She's got this jacket on her. That is issued by the prison. She gets away from this dude, gets the trap door open. She's trying to get down the ladder. Okay, and again, this is a very tall ladder because guard towers are tall. And if you don't know how, actually, let me grab this real quick. I'm going to show you real quick a picture of a guard tower so y'all can see it, so we can all see it together. What one of these things looks like. Let's see. I should have done that first. Let's see. Prison guard tower.
Miss Lavender?
Yes, ma'am.
While you're looking, I just want to tell you a quick story. You guys probably think my job is crazy, but I'm not going to mention it. But you just brought me up until an incident where I was, had a coworker that I worked with. We were very good, and I had told you I had experienced the death of one of my twins. So, my job was really kind of, supporting, but me and him worked together and everything. And so he had kind of knew my history. I had not started dating or whatever. He said, "Are you dating?" I said, I'm kind of, just starting, because I was still grieving. He said, "Well, it's been a long time since you had sex. Do you know this man pulled out his penis at the desk and showed it to me?"
That's really disgusting.
And I was I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm pretty sure I would know what to do. And it was like with no shame. I'm thinking, is there cameras? So I'm up here thinking, you need to put that back before you get in trouble. But and when I told like co-workers or whatever, it was like, hey, men are just something else. They something else. They're just something else. But I just had to share that. Thank you while you were looking.
Yeah, that's disgusting. All right, y'all. So
it is.
So this is a prison guard tower, okay? And if you can see, okay, and I'm not sure if you can see, but this is the fence around the prison, okay? This is around the perimeter, okay? Now, the perimeter fence is pretty high. I'm guessing that this is one of those, well, no, it's pretty high. And it's about, the prison perimeter fence is going to be like higher than the, I guess the floor, like the first floor of the building, okay? And the guard tower is about twice the height as the perimeter fence. And you see how there's glass all the way around it, okay? So, this particular perimeter tower didn't look just like that. I'm not even sure if it had an outside like that. It may have, but actually, I don't think they had an outside. I think it was more like this, actually. Actually, I think it is more like this because this lets you know it just goes straight up, okay? It goes straight up. It's a ladder, and there's no outside. It's just the glass all the way around, okay? The tower that this happened to this woman in was more like this. And you see how narrow, shit. Let me point to it. You see how narrow it is right here? In comparison, that's because there's a ladder. A ladder's going all the way up. And it's tall. So, here's what's going on. Okay? So, this woman is trying to get away from... The woman is trying to get away from this officer who has just pressed her up against the glass. Just smashed her up there and put his hand down her pants. She gets away from him, gets to the trapdoor, flings that thing open, and starts to make her way down that ladder. But she doesn't get very far. She's down maybe like to the second rung. And that officer, that man, ran up there and grabbed the back of her jacket. Now, he grabbed the jacket so hard that it kind of, like, the force flung her off the ladder. Okay? So her arms are off the ladder, and she could fall. And she had to fight her way back to the ladder rung to hold it, to grab a hold of it. This shit is high. I guess once he realized what he had just done, he let her go. And she was able to get down that ladder. And she went into the building to go clock out because she was like... And the lieutenant, because when there's shift change, the shift supervisor from the... actually, both shift supervisors come in and they monitor the staff members coming in the building. But her shift supervisor was right there and saw that there was something wrong. And so he goes and talks to her. He pulls her into an office. And she tells him, this is what this dude just did. And he's like, oh my God. And so he gets a statement from her. and they have somebody relieve him, get a statement from him. Oh yeah, please like the live, please share the live, and if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. Yeah, so she does her statement. They relieve him to have him brought inside. He gives a statement. They do all that stuff right, but they neglected to call state police. They should have called state police. The policy says call state police because she was just sexually assaulted on state property. They didn't do that. They just wrote it up like it was some kind of weird incident. And it ended up in internal affairs. And I got assigned it. And when I looked at this, I was like, did anybody... I'm looking through because I'm like, okay, where's the part where they call state police? So I go to my supervisor and I was like, do these people call state... Like, before I called this off right now, that they should have called state police for this. And he's like, well, what's going on? I was like, a female staff member got sexually assaulted in a guard tower. He was like, damn. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go call over there. And I talked to the warden, and they did not call state police. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay, well, we're going to have to deal with that. So, next thing I know, because I had the female officer come in first. She agreed to do a lie detector test. She passed. And my case was weird because they were like, this is brutal, what he had done. And there's no way he's going to admit it. And I was like, well, I need a confession because there's no cameras up there. And you can't do anything with just 2 lie detector tests. Cannot constitute a firing. They can't trigger a firing because that's not enough evidence. You have to have some kind of physical evidence or a confession to go along with the lie detector test. And everybody's like, you're not going to get one. He's not going to admit it because that's a fucking felony, what he did. And it was bad. But he came in the office and I had that dude in there for like 4 hours. I talked to him. Something like that. It was a long time. Because he was denying it. And I knew that if I wanted to get justice for this woman, that I needed a confession. And I was actually good at getting those because I wasn't like the dumbass that like yells at people because that doesn't work. But I sat there and I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Let me make him think that I'm on his side. And so I had to talk to him like a straight up pick me and basically make it like I didn't believe her. I feel like there might have been some kind of a mistake made. So let's just get to the bottom of it because I feel like maybe she led you on. He was an idiot, and so it worked. I mean, it took a while for it to work, but it did. And little by little admitted to, like, first it was like, oh, well, maybe I accidentally touched her butt. And then it was like, well, maybe one of my fingers accidentally got in there in her pants. And we went through this for a few hours. Until finally he admitted to doing it on purpose. And I was like, bingo. And it was crazy because by the time he was done confessing, he actually thanked me because he was nervous. He was so scared about the situation. It was the weirdest shit I had ever heard. When I had people listen to that part, like where he finally admitted it, and they listened to the recording, they were just like, are you fucking serious? No way. Because they were like, there's no way you're going to get that confession. I did. I got it. But then, I'm sorry, y'all, because this shit really pisses me off. So, it was obvious that the male officer did something bad. But then, suddenly, I've got the lawyers and the director and the deputy director that was in charge of that particular unit. The three of them come down to IAD to talk to me. And I'm like, what the fuck do y'all want? And they're asking me about state police involvement. Because the next step is supposed to be, this has to go to state police because this is a fucking crime. Now, they weren't looking at me suspiciously. They were like, shit. Because they were like, well, who was supposed to call state police? And I said, the unit was supposed to call state police when it happened. Because upstairs is a crime scene. That's a crime scene up there. And we had a staff-on-staff assault and a crime scene that was supposed to get processed for evidence. And so, instead of just taking the L and calling state police, they try to make it like she should have called state police, which is not what the policy says. Like, when there's a staff assault, when an inmate beats up a staff member, we don't make the staff member call the police. We get the staff member to the hospital. We call the police. Well, the unit calls the police. Because a crime was committed against a staff member. But the director, her deputy director that was over that particular unit, and the lawyer in charge of the legal department all came to talk to me to basically let me know that we're not going to do anything because they're embarrassed that nobody called the police and it makes them look bad. They look bad for not calling the cops. And so they don't want, and there was this thing like state police kind of didn't like us. I think state police kind of suspected that we weren't doing our jobs right. And I think state police realized like that we weren't doing our jobs right. And I think we've had some run-ins with the state police. And so the director and the legal department did not want state police in our business. And so after all that work, after that woman went through that shit, they weren't going to take it there because the department was embarrassed because the job was initially done incorrectly. So they swept it under the rug. And so that woman didn't get justice. And that's not even the only time that's happened. She couldn't, Livy. That state was nasty. The state's one of those weird states where it will not be a defendant in its own courts. There's no way for her, she wasn't going to be able to sue. If she was going to sue, she would have had to get like an outside lawyer, like from another state. There's no way. How did she deal with it? She quit. She went back to work. She quit. Yup. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. Now, that part I don't know. I don't know if he got himself fired. He probably got fired. Actually, no. I know he got fired. He got fired. But he didn't get prosecuted like he should have. Like the rapist he is, he didn't get prosecuted because my department was too embarrassed to call state police because they fucked up in the first place. Well, he wouldn't have landed at another prison in that state. He would have been barred from working in the state. Actually, he would have been barred from like all state jobs. But no, he wouldn't have been able to go to another prison. I agree with that, Cherokee. Made his ego big and he knows he can probably get away with it again. That part. So although he won't be able to get another state job, he'll just get another job. Because actually, I forgot to tell y'all, something else that came out in that investigation is that she wasn't the first coworker he attacked. He attacked another female staff member carpooling. He and another woman were carpooling, and he pulled over on the side of the road and attacked her. Yeah. So I only know of one. But yep. It's dirty pool. And that's not even, golly, the stuff that I've seen doesn't even count like the one that I don't have time to tell y'all this one now. But I'll tell it to you at another time. But it's like, it's bad. But it's Wednesday. Y'all don't want to hear all that. Oh, let's see. Once they do it, sometimes they continue until they're stopped. Yeah. But y'all don't want to hear that other story. Probably not right now. Anyway. Shane, thanks for the finger hearts. Nay, thanks for the roses. Yeah. Did anybody else have anything? Nah, y'all don't want to hear it. Well, plus, here's the other thing, too. Like, okay, like, I don't want to be an asshole, but, like, okay, I've been here for almost 2 hours. Y'all don't want to hear it. My finger heart goal. Look at my finger heart goal, y'all. I got my hat out. Where's my hat? Yeah, and this one is pretty bad. This is a shitty one. And, yeah, that's a shitty one. The abridged version? There is no abridged version. That's the thing. That's the thing about, actually, this particular situation right here. There is no abridged version because you wouldn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell it if we get the finger heart goal done. How's that? If we do the finger heart goal, I'll tell you the story. But yeah, there are so many instances where female staff members are not safe and female inmates are also not. Actually, yeah, I have 2 more stories. I have 2 more. Yeah. Or actually 3. One of them's short. Yeah. Here's what I'll do. Because I got 2 of them that are pretty shit. They're pretty shit. And I'll tell you the one that's shit. But it's not horrible. But it is. While I'm waiting for the finger heart goal. So actually, here's the thing. Here's how I'll rate it to see if you want to hear the other 2. This one's bad. But it's not as bad as the other 2 that I have. Okay? If we get the finger heart goal completed, and I guess we'll figure it out if you guys care enough about this one that I'm going to tell you, I guess you'll let me know by the finger heart goal at the end. Okay? So, this is actually the story where, and this is a shorter one. This is where I knew that my career as an internal affairs investigator was, like, my days were numbered. Okay? Now, that situation I told y'all about earlier, okay, where the woman was getting raped by a chaplain for 18 months. And that crap was pretty bad. This happened at the same prison. Okay? This happened at the very same prison. Now, y'all know about Eileen Wuornos, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you know Eileen Wuornos. Or if you've heard of her. like the female serial unaliver. That was prostituting. She was unaliving Johns. Yeah. And her claim was that she was unaliving. She wasn't unaliving like all of them. She was unaliving the ones that were assaulting her. There was a female inmate. I got this case on my desk. And I knew her, like, she had a reputation for just being loony. Okay? She was being loony. Shane, maybe? Possibly? She's pretty famous. Or was. I think they executed her. But yeah, I'm thinking thank you for the finger hearts and balance. Thank you for the daily heart me. Yeah. Thank you, Ramona. So here's what happened in this case that I had. So that same place where the chaplain was a freaking creep. I made a promise to an inmate that I should have been able to keep. And the reason that I thought I would be able to keep the promise was because of the case that happened with the chaplain and how embarrassing that was. Because the Department of Justice came back and kicked down the door of the department I worked for and was like, y'all need to fix this stuff because this was embarrassing. Okay. And so we all had to have like all this extra training because of what happened. I didn't even work there. I worked at the men's prison across the street. Okay. Yeah, Deja, I think so too. I think so. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Actually, that'll unlock these next two stories if y'all think this one's good enough. And also, please don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. I got subscriptions available. All right. So I get this case on my desk. And this woman, I knew her as like everybody knew her as the prison loony. She was locked down in a 23/7 or a 23/1, meaning she was locked down 23 hours a day, out for one. She was always in lockdown because she was considered entirely unstable. Okay? That's what was going on with her. But I get this case on my desk and I'm reading it. And the allegation from her was that this male officer over there was instructing her to get undressed. He would stand outside of her door, look at her through the window, and he would instruct her to touch herself, which was abuse. It was sexual abuse, according to the PREA standards. Okay. Looking more through, through the case file, I'm looking at his statement. I'm side-eyeing his statement. Because a lot of the times, stuff isn't real when it's against staff members. A lot of the times, you'll have an inmate saying something against staff because they're upset with staff. They didn't get me a grievance, so I'm going to make an allegation. Like, silly stuff, right? And I'm reading this dude's... I'm reading it. I'm reading his statement, and I'm like, whoa, this doesn't look right. Because it wasn't. There was shit that was off. Shit that made me uncomfortable as I'm reading his witness statement. At this point, y'all, I'm able to detect lies in written statements. Whether it's typed or handwritten. It was just something that helped me. I had to teach myself a lot of stuff because they didn't want to send me to any special schools. So I had to learn a lot of stuff online. And then the shit that I learned online was actually working. And I was like, no fucking way. And actually, that's part of what got me into internal affairs. Because I was knocking out these cases. I was getting a lot of stuff busted. I was busting a lot of shit. And people just could not understand how I was doing it. And I'm like, well, y'all told, because I had the boss that told me, like, look, before, you need to use whatever tool. He's like, you have an unlocked computer in there. in your office. He's like, you're one of the only people in this building that has an unlocked computer. We're not sending you anywhere, but you will do this. You will find out as much as you can. Figure it out. If you can't figure it out, you get to the point where you can't figure something out anymore, and then we send it to internal affairs. He's like, but don't embarrass me by doing a half-assed job. And so I took that as I need to figure out and so I started, yes, Agnes, self-educating. That's what I was doing. Because I didn't want to make anybody look stupid. I didn't want to be an embarrassment. Okay? But the cool thing about that was I was doing so much kick-ass work because of my stuff that, like, yeah, I got the attention. I actually got the attention of internal affairs. And I had other folks that were at internal affairs trying to get me to come over there. And then I did go. Okay. So anyway, so at this point, like I said, I can detect lies and shit. I can detect inconsistencies in a written statement. Okay, whether it's handwritten or typed, just by looking at a few different types of things. Sentence structure, the types of words used, shit like that. Okay. And I'm like, there's something wrong with this statement. Like, I don't think he's telling the truth here. Or he could be scared or something. Something's off. And so I already had an idea of the questions. Like, you always want to get the idea of the questions that you want to ask the person before you get down there. Okay? What does the sentence say? It's cut off. It was cut off for you. Look, that would be a whole other live. I didn't really explain it at all. I just said, like, I can tell by the stuff, but I didn't explain how. Because that would take me forever. Because it took me forever to learn it. Took me a couple of months. Actually, that's not forever, but it took me a couple of months to learn the things that I had to learn by myself because nobody was sending me to a special school. But it's all stuff that you can find online. That's what I will tell you. And like, I was able to find that stuff because I had an unlocked computer. So the same access to the internet that you have at home, that's what I had at work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was able to get everything. So it was super cool. So I was like, yeah, this dude's lying. All right. Oh, what does the sentence say? Oh, it's cut off. Oh, the shit. How's this? There we go. Sorry about that. Y'all, I need more coffee. Anyway, thank you for that. Girl with the grit. I appreciate you because I was thinking she was asking a completely different question. Anyway. So this guy, yeah, I get over to the prison. It's a far ass drive for me from my office. I talk to this woman because we have to, establish a rapport. And then we have to formulate the questions together. She's got to agree to the lie detector test questions. And I gave her the test. But as we were establishing that rapport, though, so let me go back. She was telling me about how it's like she never had a chance in life. She never had a chance. Like her life was just going to be shit from the beginning. She had shit parents. No one cared about her. She was getting molested at like 5. She was getting molested at 5. And then it was just bad from there. She started drugs and alcohol real early. And then by the time she was 15 years old, she was being prostituted out. And Leanne, I don't work for anybody. I work for myself now. I'm retired. Please like the live. Please share the live. And if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. And also, that live goal will unlock 2 more stories, like the real messed up ones that are like, okay, one's a staff story and one is an inmate story. All right. And so she's telling me about how she was prostituted out since she was like 15. And she kept getting arrested because like back in those days, because she was older. And back in the day, like, they didn't care about trafficking. They weren't looking for the job. They were putting prostitutes away. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was really messed up. They didn't care that she was a trafficked person back then. And so she would go to jail, she would get out, and then she would get arrested again. Like, she would get put back on the street by her pimp, and then she would get arrested again, and the cycle would continue until a judge was like, you just kept getting arrested, so you're going to prison now. And because of all the stuff that she had been through hell. Okay, that's probably the shortest way to put it. She'd been through hell. So now she's got all these mental health problems. She has depression, she's got a lot of shit going on, okay? And because of that, she can't really deal with being in general population. And she'd had so much stuff happen that she was just locked down in a cell by herself all day long. And so this officer was coming by, this male officer, and having her get undressed and touch herself for him. And she would just do it. And I guess one day, and I didn't ask her why, because it didn't matter, why. She decided to report it. But she did. And so that's what started this. But the thing was, by the time she reported it, there was no evidence anymore. Because it would have been caught on camera. Because all of those cells are on camera. But what happens is, if there's not an incident, that footage is going to get recorded over, I think it's a month later. It's either 60 days or 30 days later. The footage that's there is going to get recorded over. So it's if you have an incident, you have to go and get that footage immediately to make sure that you've got it. So by the time she reported it, the footage was gone. Because it would have showed him, it would have at least showed him, standing there, okay? It would have corroborated her allegations. But there was nothing. So all I would have been working with was her lie detector test versus his lie detector test. So it's basically he said, she said. And there's really nothing you can do about that. So I give her lie detector test and she passes. And I'm like, okay. So I tell the warden and I was like, all right, yeah, I need you to send your officer to internal affairs for his lie detector test. And she was like, well, he's here today. Can you just do it here? Because it's a really far drive. And I was like, well, that's up to him. And he was like, yeah, I'll do it here. So I was like, okay. So, we've got to do our rapport building situation. We're talking for a good 20 minutes. And then we're formulating the questions. He agrees to the questions. I give him the test. He fails. Oh, okay. Well, that can happen from time to time. And so I talked to him some more. I'm like, okay, well, let's clarify some stuff about this test. Because maybe you could be thinking about something else. I don't know. Because this is kind of a, So let's see if maybe there's some things we can change. So I went through the stuff that he had problems with. And we worked together, reformulated the question where I would still get the answer I needed. And he agreed with the questions. We took the test again. And he failed it again. And so when a person fails a test like that and they fail it twice, that's where you just go into the, okay, now it's time for me to get a confession. Now it's just time. And that's where you see if you can get a confession. Yeah. No, hey, Witchy Chef. Yeah. And so this whole time he is 100% denying what he had done. He's like, no, this didn't happen. And I was like, well, are you sure? Maybe. And then I told him, I was like, listen, here's the thing, because it looks like he did this. I said, but it's better if you just go ahead and tell the truth than deny it. Either way, you're not going to lose your job. You're not going to get fired because we technically can't fire you for this. Because there's no physical evidence. I said, but what would need to happen, because I've heard you're a good officer, it's just that you might not need to be supervising female inmates anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and whatever it is, and I told him, I was like, whatever you have going on with this, it could turn into something bigger later. And let's just get that temptation away from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was talking to him like that to try to get him to confess, basically. And it didn't work. And I wasn't going to sit there all day because I found him disgusting and I wanted to get back to my office. And so I was like, okay, whatever, bro. And went to the warden. I was like, hey, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. He didn't confess. Fine. But here it is. But here's the thing. With this information we have right here, the only move him. You can't fire him. Just move him to, like, move him across the parking lot to the men's prison and just swap him out with somebody over there. Fixed. And so I went back to work and, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I did promise this inmate that everything was going to be fine. Because it should have been. It should have been an easy promise to keep. Please like the live, please share the live, and if you can contribute to the live goal, that would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to get your daily heart me and please subscribe. So, I go back to work, I type up my report, I hand it to my boss. When we have something like that where it turns out to be true, actually, whether it's true or not, we have to, like, verbally tell the boss, okay? But this one was true, so it was really important. I explained what happened. I explained, hey, here's what it says. I'm showing you right here. All we can do is move him across the street. Well, across the parking lot. Because there's no physical evidence. And he's not confessed. Like, you know, can't do anything. And so, my boss was like, oh, okay. So I go back to work. And then, like, you know, I'm just working for the next 2 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks. And all of a sudden, I'm getting called into the office. And my boss is angry with me. And I'm like, why are you mad? What's going on? He got mad. He was telling me that he had gotten called over to the director's office. And he got his ass cussed out because he let me know because he didn't walk that case file over to the director's office and tell her to her face. He put it in the pile with all the other cases. And so she's only finding out about it like 2 or 3 weeks later. When that's one of those things where it's like she needs to know, she should have known it like that day to make sure that they did what they were supposed to do, which was move that dude across. So the director's pissed off at my supervisor for not giving her that information right then. And so instead of just taking the L, my supervisor was trying to figure out how to weasel himself out of trouble. And the way he was doing that was trying to say that I didn't know what I was doing. And so it wasn't a big deal because I did it wrong. I did something wrong. So the next few parts of the story don't really matter. What basically ended up happening was my job was threatened. The inmate didn't get justice, and they left that male officer right where he was. So that my boss, my supervisor, could save face. So that is the kind of stuff. Yeah. The sad part, though, is that the director's a woman. But then I guess it's the same thing as like when you have a monarch that's a woman, that female monarch is still working under the confines of the patriarchy. So like, yeah, my female director for the entire Department of Correction was just upholding the patriarchy and sweeping things under the rug, which a lot of people are like, but she's a woman, don't care. Her job is intact. And she still has to deal with a bunch of dudes. So yeah. What's going on, Leanne? Uh-oh, Leanne, did you know you're up here? Oh, that must be a mistake. Okay. Okay, yeah, that must be a mistake. All right. Okay. Maybe she is victim. Who? Let's see, it makes sense why they chose her. Virtue signaler. Yeah, could be. Yeah, I can't remember who the director was when I first started working there. Oh, you did, Leanne? Yeah. My boss. Maybe she is a victim. Michelle, I still don't know what you mean. I'm sorry. It's possible that I'm just reading that wrong, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that means. But yeah, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they know who they hire. They do this kind. Yeah, they sure do. Yeah. So nobody was going to get justice in that situation. Not at all. And that poor inmate who had seen nothing but pain her entire life ends up in prison, and she can't even escape abuse while she's in prison. A lot of times you'll have an easier time interacting with a male boss in these workplaces. Yeah, but no, I didn't get to talk to that inmate. No. No, that inmate, I mean, there would have been no reason for me to talk to her. But that situation is something that keeps me up at night. I have nightmares. A lot of stuff. I don't know. I think about a lot of that stuff. But, yeah, she's one of the reasons why I talk about this stuff right now. Because there's so many officers, or officers get it bad, but inmates are in danger. Are COs put on the registry for impregnating an inmate if they go to jail? Yeah, probably. But they would have to get convicted of something. And a lot of times they sweep that stuff under the rug. So, yeah. Yeah, a lot of times they sweep that stuff under the rug, so nobody's going to jail. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, if he doesn't, and I saw that a lot, like, the state police weren't called. And it's weird, because it's like, you'll see stories online about, like a male officer will get caught doing, something disgusting. But I almost want to say, like, for every one of those you hear about in the news, there's probably hundreds that you don't hear about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree with that, Miss Blue Jazz. I agree with that. But yeah. All right. Well, does it happen more to certain races because of racism? That part I'm not sure about. I don't know. I would agree that, like, certain people are definitely targeted because of their believability, because of society's belief of their believability. But I don't know. Mm-hmm. You said you know a situation personally. His wife isn't leaving. Pretty sure the state won't do anything. Yeah, probably not. Yeah. It's really sad. All right. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to go. It's 1:15. The storyline in Empire. I'm sorry. All right. Let's see. Oh. Miso. Yeah, that's really... Oh, Shane, thanks for the finger hearts. All right, y'all. I'm going to go get some lunch. Thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for the 106,000 likes. Yeah, oof. I wish I could enjoy it. I've got work. I've got to figure this stuff. There's stuff I got to figure out because I did do that thing that I said I was going to do the other day. And so I've got to get some stuff ready. I've got to get on here and get some work done so I can prepare. So maybe Friday or Saturday, I can get y'all something new. Something new. So that's, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and cut up out of here so I could get some stuff done, because there's a lot of stuff I got to learn how to do because I don't know how to do a lot of stuff. But I want to make sure that when I debut this thing that it's going to be something that you like. Because, yeah, I'm constantly thinking of different ways to improve the live. And I really hope that this does improve it. So I'm excited. Momo, yes, I am going to go eat. Thank you so much for all the likes and the shares and the power shares. Thank you all so much for keeping the chat going. Thank you so much for all the gifts. I am going to get out of here, get some food, and get some work done. But thank y'all so much. I will be back at 7 p.m. Eastern. Golly, it's so weird. It doesn't even feel like that long from now. But I will be back at 7 p.m. Eastern with a topic. With something. But thank y'all so much. I will see you. Thank you. Bye, everybody.